I'll do the donk.
Like
Just
we
brother and sister
I will
hang out.
follow Club Donk.
Yeah, chatting about media. Lol.
No!
Donk.
Report!
Okay. Okay. Harry Potter 6. The the Half-Blooded Prince. It's where we start to realize that the whole story is actually about Snape.
Lol.
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually that like this whole book, I mean like the title at least is like kind of really centers around Snape.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you do learn so much about Snape, but you don't realize that that's what's happening until like the end, when you realize that he's the Half-Blood Prince. You know?
Yeah. But you
You're
also
getting a window into young Snape, but you don't know that's what's happening.
yeah. But also it made me think that like actually you learn a lot about Snape over the whole series because of his like relationships with Harry's parents and Sirius, and like just from him being like the kind of local bad guy, itinerant bad guy.
Yeah, you learn heaps about him. I guess he's like one of the main characters, you know?
But like you learn more about him than you learn about Sirius or Lupin.
Yes. Which I think is a shame. Not that we learn that much about Snape, but I feel like there could have been more about, particularly Lupin. I would like to know more about Lupin. Like, really, it's just like he was friends with the other boys and he's a werewolf.
Yeah. I reckon like there's a lot of scope for like companion books or like offshoots and shit. Which like she said she wasn't going to write any more Harry Potter books, right?
Yeah. Which I guess is what those movies have done, because she wrote Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but as like a
Textbook,
you know,
right?
because that's a real book that exists in their world. I think she just wrote that book.
Is it a story though?
I haven't read it.
I'm
My
gonna
understanding was that it was just that book. You know, like she released The Tales of Beedle the Bard.
Yeah.
And just that book that exists in their world.
that makes sense. Because it's like an important book in the 7th book. But like
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts is like not really an important book to them.
No, I think she wrote it because it's like a monster guidebook, you know?
Oh
And
yeah.
that's fun to have about the world.
Oh yeah. I think she made Quidditch Through the Ages too, didn't she?
Yeah. She's written a few of those, but she hasn't written about any other characters, right? But then those movies have made that whole storyline.
A bit.
What?
Well, who's that guy in Fantastic Beasts? I don't even. Who is he? He's just the
Newt
guy who wrote it. Huh?
Yeah. Newt Scamander. But I think the bad guy in that is someone important.
Who is it? I haven't seen. I'm gonna watch them soon because next time I've got free time, I'm gonna watch all those ones.
It's Grindelwald.
Oh, in the first Fantastic Beasts one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he's in more than just the first one.
Yeah, the second one's about him.
Yeah.
And then the third one's that about like the Dumbledore's shit, the life and lies of Albus Dumbledore.
The Secrets of Dumbledore. I didn't realize that. I've only watched the first one, and I don't remember anything that happened in it. So.
But so the Dumbledore one must cover a bunch of the backstory between Dumbledore and Grindelwald anyway, right? Well, let's
Yeah,
talk
'cause-
about that next time anyway.
He's played by Jude Law, so he's like a young guy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Weird choice.
Yeah.
Also, Johnny Depp.
I know. I think he got dropped from it recently
Oh, why?
because he's wife beater.
Oh, really? I thought he won that case.
No.
Oh.
He did. But you're just like a commoner, bro. She won the case that said that he abused her, but he won the case that said she defamed him.
Oh.
So, anyway.
Shows how much I'm following the media.
I don't need to talk about that at all. Ever.
I was busy reading Harry Potter when that shit was happening. I only saw like memes about the cases anyway, and like most of the people I saw were like supporting Johnny Depp anyway.
Yeah, I think most of the public supports Johnny Depp, which is why it was crazy that like the US court case was allowed to be like televised and stuff, because it really just let him, you know, further get public on their side.
Yeah. Man, the whole thing's fucked.
It's so shit. Anyway, let's talk about Harry Potter.
Let's talk about Harry Potter. Oh yeah, man, I actually forgot, like, you know, right at the beginning, Dumbledore comes and picks Harry up, and it's such a like sweet moment. It's like a heartwarming moment.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
really
oh,
like
especially after all that shit in 5, like it's like, oh, he's finally like, I don't know, giving Harry a sense of family, you know, like a granddad.
Yeah, one way more including him and stuff, even if he doesn't really tell him that much about what they're doing in 6. He's just kind of like, come with me. It's like he's included, you know? He's not just like a kid that no one will talk to.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it kind of makes sense that Dumbledore didn't tell him every single thing along the way, because part of that was important for how it worked out and shit. Also, why doesn't Harry have grandparents?
Just doesn't. I don't know. We
Or
don't have
any relatives. Like, his parents weren't that old. Like, it, you know, his grandparents are like Petunia's parents.
Yeah.
Like, where are all the grandparents? There's no grandparents. There's like only Neville has a grandma in the whole story.
That's true. That's weird. She just couldn't be bothered writing grandparents. I did see a meme the other day that was like, you know, like in the books, his parents were 21 when they died. And there's like the shot of them in the movies, and they're like at least 40. It's like.
Was they 21?
They were 21 when he died.
Oh, yeah.
But in the movies, they're like, you know,
Parents.
at least.
Yeah, like as if they were still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some like aunts and stuff, but no one else has grandparents.
Yeah, there's like Aunt
Muriel,
yeah. Oh yeah, so Slughorn's new in this book too. Which
I
is
really
like what's that?
I think I like him. I think he's like an interesting character, and I think she finally kind of made a character who is like kind of an archetypal Slytherin, but not a cunt. Like,
yes.
He's just kind of like, you know, like you see it in the battle in 7 as well, where he's kind of like a bit reluctant to do it. He doesn't really want to get involved, but he's like, oh, like I will, but
he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
Yeah, I think he's interesting.
I think so too. Like, he's like a bit slimy, but he's not like evil.
Yeah.
Which like should kind of be the majority of Slytherins really, but we only really meet evil Slytherins, like the kids as well.
Yeah, because he's like that. you know, just like a kind of power hungry guy, but he doesn't want to be the guy in charge. He just wants to like have connections and know everyone.
Yeah,
Social climber.
and brag about it,
Yeah.
which is
Which I
fine.
think is cool. Yeah, he's new, which means, you know, Snape finally gets his job he wants. Which is interesting. Doesn't lift the curse though, does it?
No, but it's only one more year until the curse is gone, right? The curse owner is dead. The cursor.
The cursor. Yeah. Yeah, that beginning bit's fun. I like when he disguises himself as a chair.
Yeah, that scene was like really vivid in my memory, and then reading it again, I was like, nothing really happens, and he's just
No.
like camping out in like a Muggle's house.
Yeah.
Because he's like running away from the Death Eaters, right? Because he thinks they're gonna want him on their team or some shit.
Yeah. He's like in hiding. Which is why he doesn't want to work at Hogwarts, is because he's like, well, then that's choosing sides, you know?
Because he like knows that thing was making Horcruxes, right? Is that why he thinks they're after him?
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because like Voldemort doesn't want anyone knowing that he made Horcruxes or that he was even like interested in them and shit.
Yeah, it's interesting that Voldemort didn't like quite a while ago be like, I should probably just kill Slughorn so no one can have that memory or anything, you know?
Well, quite a while ago, he was already kind of out of action, though.
Yeah, but he was in power for 9 years and making Horcruxes.
True.
You think in that time when you had like control of everything, you'd be like the only guy that we know of, I guess, that he ever talked to about Horcruxes maybe should just like, you know.
True, because he was taking out other connections. Like he took out all the other people who had like had connections with the objects that he got and shit.
Yeah.
But he was when he was in power, he was probably so like full of it that he didn't think it would matter even if they found, because even if they found out that he was making Horcruxes, it's a lot of like guesswork and like unpicking to figure out what they are and where they would be, and even then they were like really hard to get to and shit.
Yeah. I mean, again, you know, we won't talk about Seven, but like, you know, hard to get to, but not that hard.
Yeah, not hard enough.
Not hard enough.
Like, why isn't it like in cement in the middle of the ground or some shit?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or just like, if you can transfigure objects, like if you're saying that a Horcrux has to have like an emotional connection to you to be able to be a Horcrux.
What, does it? No.
Well, I don't know. I think that's why, you know, when the Dumbledore's like, you're thinking of portkeys.
Yeah, but that's just because that doesn't mean. I don't think that means that like a boot couldn't be one. I think it means that like people just wouldn't do that. Oh, maybe that makes sense though.
Yeah, right. I just kind of assumed that that would be the reason why, is that like to put your soul into something. I don't know. There has to be something already there. But even if you're saying that that's what is happening in the world, you can transfigure objects into other objects. So you could just put your soul into an important object and then transfigure it into anything.
Like how Barty Crouch's dead body is a bone now.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy as well. Does that mean that his body just stays a bone forever? Or is that like when Barty Crouch Jr. dies?
Which is,
does his body turn back into his body?
I don't know. that's quite like a. Well, do you think there are other things in the books where like someone who is now dead had cast a thing that still exists? Like, what about all the?
I don't know. But then I guess what you're really asking is like, is transfiguring something like a curse or a spell or a charm or something, or is it something else?
I mean, I doubt that it's dependent on the caster because, like, I think the idea is that you're changing that thing's formal existence in material reality rather than just making an illusion. Like, I think maybe an illusion would be more like dependent on you being alive or something. But even then, it's kind of like, is that like everything you've cast up until now is like hanging on to you? Like, isn't it like using your magical power like all the time to like maintain it or some shit, if that's the case?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the world works, man.
I don't know how the world works. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, Dumbledore says that like most of the stuff that they got through to get to that one in number 6, the one in question.
Yeah.
Like you would have to be like a pretty brilliant wizard to get through, and the only reason they got through it was because he's Dumbledore.
You mean the protections?
Yeah, the protections like on the cave, and then like the boat, and like maybe even like finding where the shit is. Like maybe you have to be particularly gifted.
Yeah, well, that one seemed like one of the better protected ones, you know? Like,
I think he was just relying on no one finding them.
I guess so. But you think, I just would have thought, you know, if I was making a bunch of Horcruxes,
which I'm not.
I'll definitely die one day. If you put that much effort into one of them, why would you not just put at least similar effort into the rest of them? You know, like the diadem is just in a room at Hogwarts, and
that's sloppy as.
He didn't think anyone else knew about that room, but also, how could he possibly have thought that was true? Because the room is full of shit.
Yes. Like everyone knows about that room.
Yeah, but he just thinks, I guess it's just like pointing out his hubris that he thinks he's so special that no one else knows about this room, or like hasn't used it in such a long time that no one currently at school knows about the room. But like there's no protection on it, you know?
No.
Like, and then the cup he just gives to Gringotts, you know, like it's just in Gringotts.
Which, well, we should talk about that next time too. Yeah. But like, I think with the thing of him like choosing like powerful objects and shit is also kind of like his like repressed kind of emotional outlet or whatever. Like he doesn't really let himself have like a human emotional life. He's got this kind of like psychopath, sociopath kind of like mode in the world, but then he's got this like deep down there's this like longing for meaning, and it comes out through like an attachment to like historical powerful objects.
Yeah, well, like an obsession with being connected to Hogwarts forevermore. So he's like, well, I'll put my soul in these Hogwarts objects, and then we're like linked, you know?
Yeah, well, maybe he also sees Hogwarts as like the kind of primary wizarding institution too, that is kind of like, it kind of enshrines the 4 greatest wizards ever, and then Dumbledore's also there, who's like the greatest wizard ever, and then it's kind of like much more than the ministry. It's like this place that kind of like brings together all the most important things in wizarding history, which he thinks he wants to like overthrow or whatever. But really, like if he wanted to be such a great wizard, I mean, he didn't really do anything. Like he didn't innovate anything like Dumbledore did or whatever, or like He just went for like brute force.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know. I've just seen shit. Again, I haven't watched the Fantastic Beasts movies and stuff, but like, Grindelwald was trying to like take over the world, like the wizarding world. And Voldemort was like, I just want Britain, you know? Like, I
Just England.
Yeah, anyway. 6. So what's happening in 6? They've dropped a bunch of their subjects. It's my favorite one. I have to say it was my favorite one to reread because it's just so like kind of mundane, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's just going to classes and Harry's having his special lessons with his special Dumbledore.
Yeah, until the end, up until right at the end.
Yeah, obviously. But I really liked that. And I don't know, I found it quite frustrating that after the 5th one, where Harry's like, oh, no, it's the 6th one. Nobody believes him about Malfoy. Everyone's like, nah, no. He's like, just so sure. And then it's right.
Yeah, but Dumbledore knew about it, but he was like kind of playing into it because he was going to die anyway or whatever.
Yeah, I more mean like, you know, his best friends in the world who are like, you're being fucking crazy. And there's all that stuff where he like keeps talking to them about it. And then at a certain point, they just stop. They just start ignoring when he says anything about Malfoy.
Yeah, they have the like, oh, Harry's going on off his far-fetched theories again, look with each other.
This guy obsessed with Malfoy.
Yeah, like, why don't you just ask him out on a date, Harry? Yeah, the normal schooling stuff is really nice. And that was kind of what I was looking for when I started reading them again. But also, and it's like the last taste of that before everything just gets like totally dire.
Yeah, and it's so nice that we get to have like a quite fun book where they're exploring like dating and stuff, and there's all the like romantic drama between them all.
And actually learning.
Yeah, actually like just going to lessons and not doing all this other bullshit.
You know how like Harry's suddenly like a genius at potions, and then like Hermione's always like put out because she's like not the top of the class and shit. I saw this video that was like pointing out that Snape always wrote his instructions on the board.
Yeah.
And then everyone did it well, or like Hermione could do it really well, but then the textbook was actually kind of like out of date or whatever, and then Slughorn's using that. So it's like actually everyone was following the Half-Blood Prince's way the whole time.
Yeah, I know. That made me really be like, why the fuck are they still using those like shit old textbooks? Why hasn't Snape?
Well, they're not.
Textbooks, you know? No, but like, if he has all this knowledge about potions making, why isn't he writing new textbooks and shit, you know?
Also, why is he trying to be Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher if he's such a potions genius?
I don't know. It's weird, eh?
But I guess he was like only fresh out of school when he started working there too, because he must have been like 21 around the time that he started working there. So like, he's been the potions teacher doing it the different way that whole time.
Whoa. He's been there for ages.
Yeah, because he started working there just around the time that like that shit all happened, because then he went...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really nice, though, to have a potions teacher who's not a fucking asshole.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, he's like making it fun, making it interesting, getting people interested in potions, like letting people do a bit of their own thing and shit, like a teacher kind of should.
Yeah. It's way more interesting. And like, you know, bribing them with Felix Felicis.
Which is kind of like a loophole, a plot hole in itself, because like if they've got that, why aren't they using that all the time? Why isn't Voldemort using that? Like, why isn't everyone like? I mean, obviously, if you abused it, it would probably like wear off, or like if everyone was using it, it would cancel out or something. But still, why didn't they take a little bit of that when they're like going to look for a Horcrux or something?
Do they say something about that? About like in large doses or something, it's actually bad for you?
I don't know, but they did say if you fuck it up, it can be really dangerous.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous that if Slughorn can just make that, like presumably he made that batch, why isn't he just making it all the time and like distributing it and selling it?
Also, he made a big batch, and there's like a big batch sitting there in Hogwarts.
Yeah.
It's still there now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really liked how Harry like goes and like pretends to put it in Ron's juice, and then he's like gets the confidence. Ah, it's so cute. And then Hermione's still disapproving, even though it was a lie.
Like that's still like bad.
She's like, you got that trick from the Half-Blooded Prince, didn't you?
She's so anti that book. She's such a square, about some things.
Yeah, she can be a real douchebag sometimes.
Yeah, and I feel like, I think Harry even says it, doesn't he? Like, if you'd found the book, you'd be using it too. It's like, yeah, who wouldn't, Although, I think she has a point. Like, when he uses that one against Malfoy in the bathroom, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't use a spell that you know nothing about on someone.
With a really evil-sounding name.
Yeah. So, she's kind of right.
And then he fucking gets detention for the rest of the year and doesn't get to play Quidditch, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck!
But then his girlfriend wins it for him anyway, right?
Yeah, and then he gets a victory pash.
Oh, cute. That's so cute. I really enjoyed all of that storyline.
Yeah, I reckon like that whole shit about him like breaking up with her at the end though is like just stupid. Like she that was a bit weak, that whole like plot thread of him like trying to protect Ginny so he like breaks up with her. It's like you could just explain that you're gonna have to wait until like kill Voldemort, right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to like act as if he doesn't like her and shit.
I know, it's really weird. It's like just like you all know there's a war coming and shit. Just be like, there's a war coming. I've got some things to do, but like I really like you, But
I like you. It's really like repressed in English, like that approach, Fuck.
Yeah, but I really like the whole way through the book where it's like, it's starting to, he cares about her, and he keeps talking about this like beast waking up inside him and stuff, and then
in his pants.
Yeah, I know. When her and Dean break up, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and he had that fantasy about like taking the Felix Felicis or whatever, and then like using it on Ginny, which is a bit fucked up, TBH. But then then it happened anyway. Like when he was leaving the common room, and he like pushed Ginny, and then she thought it was Dean, and then they had a fight about it. Lol.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, it's just really sweet. And I found it really nice after all the stuff with Cho, which I found really like awkward and cringe. And then
that whole thing was so stupid. When I was reading that, and it was before I realized that Ginny was actually cool, because that's in the 6th book. Like,
yeah,
I was like, why are you doing this, Joanna?
I know.
Like, why are you like ruining this really cool opportunity? Like, she's like a really cool girl. She's like smart, and she plays Quidditch on the same position, and like they get along really well. And she thinks Harry's cool, which he's not.
Yeah.
And he likes her. He liked her for ages. And then it's like, okay, but let's make her like a real, like, annoying, emotional bitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's lame. But then it's also like, I don't know, they never really knew each other. He just like has a crush on her. And then Ginny starts being really cool. And it's like, oh, they've known each other for ages. Like, they actually know each other, you know?
Yeah. Whatever.
It's cute.
Yeah, it is cute. In the end, it's cute. It pays off, but
I guess so. I don't really think that everyone at the end of the seventh book needed to end up with their like high school sweetheart, but whatever.
yeah, we're gonna talk about. I've got a whole bunch of shit to say about that next time. But yeah, he like keeps trying to like suppress it. He keeps like seeing her and being jealous and like being like, "Oh, Ginny," and then being like, "No, it's just because she's Ron's sister and I care about her." It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
I care about her like a big brother would. No, you don't. You dumb bitch.
I should hope that that's not what you think a big brother's gonna be caring about. Like, yeah. I also really liked that sequence where he does take the luck potion and then goes and like goes on his kind of like intuition and shit. And I'm like, huh, it's kind of what you should be doing the whole time. But then he like just like follows it around, goes down to Hagrid's hut, and like,
Yeah, right. I really like that too. I remember when I saw that because they do that scene really well in the movie as well. It's just like really fun and kind of whimsical. And he's like kind of high, you know? And he's like, I'm just gonna go do this. And Hermione's like, no, like we've got a whole plan. And he's like, nah, no, like
yeah, what does Ron say? He says something really funny. Like, are you sure you didn't just take like essence of insanity?
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's cute that he goes to the funeral as well. I like that.
Yeah.
I like when they're supporting Hagrid.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah. He's such a good friend to all of them.
Man, we've got like this huge amount of pumpkins, and I was like brushing them off and bringing them inside today, and I was like, I'm just like Hagrid.
Cute.
Oh, bro, I've been like nerding out on the like atmospheric soundtracks on YouTube, and there's like a Hagrid's Cabin one, like Hagrid's Cabin background music, and like there's like Forbidden Forest and Hogwarts Express, and like one for each of the common rooms and shit. It's like
Cute.
fucking.
I want a house like Hagrid's house. That's like my dream home. Is like, you know, kind of one room with a bed and a little kitchenette. And
It's like quite small though, right?
Yeah, I think if you were a normal sized person, it wouldn't be super small, but he's half giant, you know.
I'm sure they could make him a bigger house on there.
Yeah, there's a huge grounds. I don't know why. I assumed the house was already there and they were like, you know, you teenage delinquent that has just been expelled can live in that little hut over there.
Yeah, do you reckon there was a gamekeeper before Hagrid?
I don't know.
I need details on this, J.K. Rowling.
They could just have not been, and Dumbledore was like...
Made it up.
Oh, was it Dumbledore or the other guy?
No, it was Dumbledore. Oh, no. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think Dumbledore was just a teacher then, eh?
Yeah. So maybe he had a bit of a break before bringing him on.
But wasn't he only like 13?
Yeah, so maybe he had to wait a bit until Dumbledore became a teacher, principal.
But doing what though? Like he's an orphan at that point, right?
I don't know, bro. He's probably got some kind of like underage subsidy from the Ministry of Magic so that he can survive. Oh yeah, but he would have been that. That's pretty weird, actually. That's a bit of like a thing hole because like he's in trouble for like he's expelled and shit. He should be like fucking on the outskirts of society.
Yeah.
Gonna have to look that up.
Also, if there isn't a break, that's child labor, bro. You can't do that. Can't put a child to work at your school.
It's like what he wants to do most in the world anyway. And they kind of implied that like a whole bunch of the stuff in the Forbidden Forest was there because Hagrid brought it in and like raised it up and shit.
Yeah. What a cool dude.
Yeah.
I
really think they could have emphasized that a bit more, that he's like kind of a genius like with animals.
I think so, because he's really just treated like an oaf, you know?
Yeah, even by the author.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like there should be this buzz that everyone's a genius in different ways. But that is not part of the mythology, because like Ron's not.
Yeah. Ron's a bit of a muppet. But
like even Neville's like, oh, there's some hidden like shit in there. Like, oh, he's really good at herbology. And then it turns out he is brave anyway.
yeah, once he's given a chance to flourish, he really does.
Yeah.
He really steps up when Harry's his teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like, I don't know. Obviously, Malfoy's intelligent too. He gets into newt potions.
Well, he's kind of the teacher's favorite though, but also he doesn't really have a specialty.
Just being a bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
he's the teacher's pet. You don't sit your examinations with the teacher.
True. So he's like proficient.
Yeah. I mean, I guess comparing him to Crabbe and Goyle isn't really mean anything.
No.
Fucking dummies.
Also in the sixth one, there's suddenly like a new Slytherin who's like that black kid who is in the parties with Harry and
Blaze
Hermione. Harry and Hermione and Ginny and not Ron.
Oh yeah, he's so put out about it.
It's like, well, you should have thought about that before you didn't have anything special going for you.
I know, because Ginny gets invited because she does a really good bat bogey hex in front of Slughorn. It's like you don't have to have that much going for you to get in, bro.
But that's right at the beginning. He's probably like just, casting the net quite wide or something.
Yeah.
But Ginny has flair and Ron doesn't really. Like all the other Weasleys have like something going for them.
I know, all the other Weasleys are like cool.
Yeah.
Isn't really
why?
Cool. I don't know. I think
that's his like special point
by meeting Harry.
What's that?
I think he was like emotionally stunted by meeting Harry. He was like, oh, he's the cool one.
Well, he was emotionally stunted by having 5 older brothers.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. And they all like, but Percy has a bit of that too. Like Percy's already got that emotionally stunted thing, but he deals it with it by excelling. And then Fred and George kind of don't have it because they like deal with it by rebelling. And then Ron just has it. But then Ginny's a girl, so she like doesn't have it. She's like got her own life, and she's just got this kind of like challenge of having to have 6 older brothers, which is a bit fucked up. Is it 6?
Crazy. Yeah, right.
Bill, Charlie, Percy, Fred, George. Whoa. Why do poor people have so many kids?
They're Catholic.
Because they can't afford the healthcare. Anyway. Yeah, so she gets to kind of like, she doesn't have the pressure of having like older siblings like that or something.
Yeah.
And she's got a bit of cool older brother influence that she takes on, and it's like a bit of like becomes more of a character trait as a girl or something.
Yeah, well, you know, like what Harry says is like she's not one to cry, not like Joe. She's tough.
He doesn't say not like Joe, but it's implied.
I know, but it's implied.
Give him a chance, bro. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's fully what he means, though. He's had like romantic feelings for two girls, and he's like, this one doesn't cry.
Yeah, he's only ever had 2 crushes ever
Yeah.
till he dies.
Yeah. When he marries one of them.
Well, exactly.
What a fucking psycho.
What a pansy. He's like one of those pathetic characters like what's his name? The main guy in Arrested Development, Michael.
Oh,
Or like Ross from Friends.
Michael Bluth. Classic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the lessons with Dumbledore are like kind of cool. I mean, like they're quite cool, but then they're all about memories. They're not about magic. Like it'd be quite cool if he taught him some magic too, and like let him in a little bit into his kind of world or view of magic.
Yeah, because even when like he talks about some of the more interesting stuff about magic, you know, like I can sense this magical feeling. That's all he says.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing else.
Well, I think this is a problem with the limitation of the author. Like she doesn't have the depth to like create that mechanic or whatever.
Yeah, she can't explain it either. So
No.
she's just like, oh yeah.
He's just too smart.
Dumbledore's just so amazing. He couldn't even explain it.
Yeah, some of the stuff like Dumbledore as a character and shit, I'm like surprised that she could even have come up with it. Because I'm like, I'm kind of impressed that she would come up with that when some of the other stuff is just so shallow.
Yeah, so like vague. Yeah.
And kind of like it's kind of like tokenistic or something. Like it's not really like about. There's not really much of a sense of world.
Not really much at all.
It's just England plus some magic.
Yeah.
Like Father Christmas level magic.
Oh yeah. I watched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe the other day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was all right. It was interesting to rewatch it. I haven't watched it since I was like a real little kid.
Oh, did you watch like the new one?
Yeah. The one that came out when I was like maybe like 8 or 9 or something.
Yeah, I remember it coming out. We watched The Wizard of Oz recently.
Oh yeah, cute.
Which is like quite cool too. And I think the book is probably cooler.
I've read the book. It's really cool. I think I read a few of the books because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, I think I want to read them. We should do a series on them.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool because like even probably more so than Harry Potter, the like disparity between the books and the movie is probably a lot bigger. Like I felt like the movie moved too fast. Like it's like, oh, and I've left the village and here's the like straw man already. And there's already another guy. Like, and they just collect them and they're like, well, we'll just go off to the wizard and then they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like nothing really happens.
No, it's a musical. And I always think that musicals, like nothing really happens apart from they like sing songs to get from this scene to this scene. And then it's the end.
Yeah, I always feel like musicals, like the music doesn't really add anything. Like the music is like the purpose.
Yeah.
Like people like the music. It's not about the story. The story's like secondary to the music, which I don't like.
Yeah. No.
And the music's just not that good.
Nah, it's not. It's not. It's just little sing-songy sing-songs. I remember being amazed by the horse of a different color and it like changes colors.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, because the colors all hand drawn anyway. That's fucking magic.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, back to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What else even happens in the sixth one? I guess quite a lot happens, but it's nowhere near as long as the fifth one. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, well, and it's just so like, I don't know. I feel like so much of that happens in the sixth one is like the same, like Harry suspects that it's Malfoy, so then he keeps trying to follow Malfoy, and then, I guess in the sixth one is when he takes possession of Creature at the beginning.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sends him to work at Hogwarts.
Dumbledore comes to the Dursleys, eh?
When Dumbledore comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, we've got to sort out the will kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then he like makes Creature come, and then he's like, let's just send him to Hogwarts.
Yeah. Which I think is a good use for him, I suppose. Yeah, and he, sets him and Dobby on him.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I quite liked, like in rereading it as well. There's all those scenes where, like, when they meet that little girl in the hallway.
Yeah.
Scales.
Yeah.
And Hermione like, fixes them or whatever.
That was good setup.
Yeah, it was really cool, eh?
Yeah.
And that where Malfoy's with those two girls, and Harry's like, what is he doing with two girls? Like, everyone's going to play Quidditch. What is he doing with two girls?
Yeah, and he's like obsessing over what Malfoy's doing, like while he's like considering missing the game so that he can like follow Malfoy and shit. I mean, it's kind of fair enough. Like, he suspects that what Malfoy's doing is going to impact the fate of not the world, Britain.
Yeah.
And Quidditch is just kind of like a hobby.
It's a fun game. I think it's fair enough. I like the whole scene where Harry's trying to get into the room of requirement.
He tries for ages, doesn't he? Like over and over.
Yeah, it's like a whole week or something. He just spends all his time in the like sixth floor corridor or whatever. I thought it was interesting, the whole, I guess, like that about the room, and Hermione points out that he can't get in because he doesn't know what's in there. Like, it could be anything in there.
Yeah, he doesn't know like the function of the room.
Yeah.
But also, didn't we think that like the reason he can't get in there is because Draco specifically asked for somewhere where no one else could come in?
I think so. Because
that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Bro, how does he fix that cabinet on his own?
In the movie, there's actually all these scenes of that. They put in all these like scenes so that in the movie you kind of, what he's doing the whole time alongside Harry, suspecting he's doing something. Oh. And he uses like budgies, and he just keeps sending budgies until, no, actually he starts with like an apple. So he sends an apple to the other one, and then it comes back with a bite taken out of it. So he's like, okay, like the connection's still there. It's just like not working for bigger things or something, or like living things.
Oh.
So then he uses budgies, and they keep coming back dead. And then eventually they start coming back alive. And then...
But what's he actually doing?
I don't know.
Just warming it up. Just...
Yeah. Maybe just getting the cabinet to remember its buddy by sending like slightly more human things until it's alive again.
That does not check out for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not explained. He could be doing anything. There could be spells to heal it that he's doing, you know? We don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what's really
How-
cool about the name of the wind and shit. It's like there's all this real technical stuff about how they're doing the shit. Like obviously I can't explain everything because it's not real, but like
yeah.
using specific metals to make these objects so that they like transmit energy in a certain way. And then like putting runes on them so that they like do a certain thing and shit. It's really cool.
Yeah, cool. It just reminds me of in The Magician's Nephew when he's like testing out the rings, you know,
Bro.
bow place, and he keeps sending like gerbils over, and they don't ever come back. He's like,
The uncle.
yeah,
That shit in The Magician's Nephew is so strong in my memory. I'm not actually sure why, but like the stuff with the pools,
yeah,
that space with the pools,
yeah.
that is real
So
dank.
cool. I love that book. I think it's the best Narnia book.
Also, it's buzzy because the whole thing is like supposed to be a Christian allegory, right? But then there's this like parallel worlds kind of like fantasy sci-fi kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a like fantasy retelling of the Bible and
Smart.
like the origin story, you know? It's so cool. Cause like, yeah, that the apple seed from the Garden of Eden then grows the tree that is made into the wardrobe. Like that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah, that's what the Silmarillion is like too. It's like a kind of retelling of a creation story, but it's like for Middle Earth, but it may as well be for Earth.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't read that. I haven't finished Lord of the Rings anyway. I think I've got the books now though.
That's the cool thing about high fantasy.
The Silmarillion's over there. I can see it.
Yeah, I tried to read it. I was like, it doesn't really have a story.
Yeah, someone had told me that it's really quite boring.
Might have been me.
It wasn't you. It was
Okay.
my fanmate, Matt.
Fine. Whatever. Fuck you, Matt. Beat you
Sorry,
up.
bro. Yeah, I don't know. It's also like, I don't know. There's so many ways to transport things in the Harry Potter worlds that aren't really fully examined. Like, there's so
Yes.
many ways to communicate, and like, if there's these cupboards that you can make that just teleport you somewhere else, that's
That
not really
can,
cool.
yeah, that can circumvent the spells on the place.
Yeah, like who brought that into Hogwarts?
Yeah, and who made it?
Well, there's a bunch of them out there because they say that they were really popular when Voldemort was in power. Because
Oh,
people would have them in their houses and one somewhere else, so that if they was searched, they'd just get in their cupboard and not be there anymore. You know?
couldn't whoever's searching go through the cupboard?
Yes. Yeah, you just need the other side just needs to realize that that's what they're doing, and then you just go get in every cupboard, and then eventually you'll find them, right?
Yeah,
Do you think she got that from Narnia?
don't know. No idea. But I think that's implied that like there's a bunch of old forms of magic that have been like watered down or like died out and shit, and now we've kind of just got this like basic bureaucratized academicized version of magic, because like there's shit like the Elder Wand and like whatever,
Yeah.
the Three Hollows and like that, and like all the weird shit that's in Bergen and what's it called? Borgen and Burks.
Organ books.
Bergen and Bogburgers. It's like the old objects that Voldemort's after, and like
Yeah, well, there's even that, like Dumbledore removed any books in the library that even mentioned Horcruxes. So it's like there's that whole half of magic that is dark magic. That yeah, obviously like Horcruxes are quite dark magic, but all of that is like shunned and pushed aside,
yeah, and it's kind of like depending on who is judging it, there might be just a whole bunch of shit in there that's actually just really useful magic, but they can't like moderate it. So like, which is kind of an apt metaphor. And there is a bunch of political stuff like that in the kind of metaphor of the world, like with the government and shit.
I guess it's like unimaginative though to like shun this whole side of magic because it's like dark instead of trying to just use it, not bad intentions,
Well, I think, yeah, that's the point. Because that's what the law is like in real life. Like plant medicine and shit is illegal because it's like gives you freedom of mind and it gives you creativity and shit.
Yeah.
Even if there's risks, which there also are with all the sanctioned medicines. So. Yeah.
When I was talking to UA about how we should bring back dueling, like why can't I, as a legal adult, duel someone if that is how we both want to sort something out?
I think with a lot of things like that, it could fall into like coercion and shit. Like there could be consent, but then like you could coerce someone into it so that they wouldn't actually want to duel.
I know, but then you just need like a government department or something, like an officiant who comes out and it's like takes your consent and the other person's consent.
Yeah. But like it's the same problem with every attempt to moderate things, is that as soon as there's a rule, everyone finds the way to exploit it, like money. Like as soon as there's rules about money, the people who are really benefiting from it are the people who are benefiting from every law about money, and exploiting it. So
yeah, well, I guess we only just passed the right to die law, and that was like took so long to get through because is that person being coerced? Do they have the capacity to make the decision to do that?
Well, bro,
then you can do it. So
like if you don't have the capacity to make the decision, is it really worth being alive? That's my question.
Yeah. But then if you're following that train of thought, then you end up in like eugenics,
Well, I mean, like there's always a line drawn and someone is drawing it, It's always a line drawn by someone's perspective or like from within someone's bias,
Yeah. Just we don't get to like draw most of our own lines anymore.
No. Because there's a bias, but it's like, but then we're all just having our line drawn by someone's bias, so that's fucked.
Yeah.
But also every solution that crops up and like has a bunch of people behind it, it's like a bunch of people behind one bias. So it's like no one's got the solution. Like the only real solution is everyone take responsibility for their own life.
Yes. But
it's scary.
Yeah, most people don't want that sort of responsibility.
No, that's the problem. The problem is not the people wanting freedom. It's the people who don't want freedom and just fall into like following other people.
Yeah. Well, this is fine. It's
AKA sheeple. Anyway, back on topic. I mean, maybe that's what we've got for 6.
Yeah, I've got a note about Voldemort not bothering to understand Horcruxes, but I think we've talked about how that's just his jam. He uses things to the end that he wants them, but he doesn't bother like figuring out what the magic behind it is or anything.
Yeah, he takes things to the extreme, but he doesn't really like innovate.
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice to have a break from Voldemort, actually. Like, there's like a big break from like Harry doesn't have to deal with Voldemort in his head, and like they don't really have to deal with any like attacks. There's a looming threat of Voldemort, but there's not really like instances of Voldemort.
Yeah, it's really nice that just like Harry is just Harry. Like, he's not having these like violent dreams that ruin his life and like these visions and stuff. It's such a just like nice book. I didn't feel like all through 5, I felt like just like this doom approaching of knowing that Sirius is going to die. And even though I knew at the end of 6 that Dumbledore's going to die, and it was so upsetting when it happened and I cried, it doesn't, like, reading the book wasn't like, fuck, I know this thing is coming. It was just like a really fun time. Although,
well, the stuff happening in the meantime is not dark in 6. But in 5, it's so heavy the whole time. Everything's heavy. Everything's a punishment. Everything's manipulative.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a lie in 6 as well. Like, it's kind of like, you know, it's like this dynamic where, like, it's like, oh, of course Harry's seeing shadows everywhere because he's had this experience, but actually it's fine. But then it is actually happening. Like, they are plotting to break into Hogwarts, and Draco is plotting to sneak everyone in and try and kill Dumbledore and shit.
Yes. Yeah, it did also like I knew what was coming at the end, but then it gets to that bit where, you know, Dumbledore's like, let's go get the Horcrux. And I was so distracted by like, whoa, finally we're doing this. And then they go and they do it, and then they come back and he dies. And I was like, oh, like, oh my God. I forgot that like they get back and then it happens, you know? There's no like...
Well, and it's like, partly it happens because he's so weakened by the potion of despair.
Well, that's what Harry thinks, but like, you know, it was going to happen anyway, but Harry thinks that it's like his fault, right?
Yeah, actually, the curse on Harry, the binding curse that wears off when he dies.
Yeah.
So, like, there are curses that wear off when the person dies.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning when I was asking that. Is transfiguration like a curse like that?
Yeah.
Or is it a different type of magic, you know?
But then there's other stuff which is actually altering, you know, like when you get bit by a werewolf, it's not a curse, but it's cursed. Like, it's definitively altering space-time.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you can't uncook an egg.
Yeah. Like, and I think most of the stuff seems to be like that. But then, for example, the protective spells on Hogwarts and shit, are they cast anew by Dumbledore, for example?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I don't know, maybe actually the teachers like go around and all do them
every year.
Once a year or something, you know, to like strengthen them or something.
Yeah, because they do new ones in the 6th one.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say, is they like get out all these other spells and shit.
Bro, that is so annoying at the beginning of the 6th one on the train where like he gets like, he's spying on Draco under the invisibility cloak, and then he gets like stunned, and then also his nose broken and shit. It's just like, why did you have to do that? And also, it's just so annoying.
Also, like, you just get a fucking extendable ear, you know?
Yeah.
Stand outside and have a listen. You don't need to be in the fucking room on top of the luggage rack.
Yeah, go into the next whatever it's called, compartment.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is also the one where like Tonks is there all the time.
Yeah.
She's protecting them.
And is like pining after Lupin,
yeah.
being a sad girl.
Yeah, and Harry's like, was she in love with Sirius? Which I think is funny because they're like related by
Cousins.
blood. Yeah.
I don't know if people care that much about that in the wizarding world. And also they're both purebloods.
Yeah, they're already
It's in their blood to be into your cousins.
That's true.
Yeah.
So a saying that Dumbledore didn't die by Snape.
No, because you have to mean it. He died when he hit the ground, which actually checks out.
Yeah, because the spell is still on Harry when he gets shot.
Yeah. And it's also plays into the whole thing that Snape wasn't the owner of the Elder Wand, it was Draco.
Yeah. This isn't in 6, but I don't understand how, like, Draco being disarmed of a different wand can mean. We can talk about it next time. Anyway.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but also like at the beginning bit, then like Snape comes and like takes Harry inside and is like punishing him for being late. It's just like so like overly vindictive. Like
Yeah.
like you don't, why do you have to go that far? You could just be like, oh right, not again, go on to the hall. But he has to like fucking make a big deal about it and give him detention and blah blah blah.
Yeah, just be like, you're such a dick. Stop being late. Stop thinking you're special. Go have your fucking dinner. You know?
Yeah, but also like if I was Harry, I'd be like, fuck off. Like I'm not going to your detention again. Stop giving me detentions. Like what's gonna happen? Like no one's gonna back Snape up.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I want him to be a bit more like those video game dubs.
Man, they're so good. If I could put some of them in our podcast, I would.
That's not even a real fucking number. Oh, I like that bit as well where just after Harry has like, you know, maimed Draco and Severus knows that he's got his book, so he's like, bring me all your books, and he brings him Ron's it says like Runel Waslip. He's like, yeah, that's my nickname. I like how sassy he is, you know, and he's like, your nickname. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's something your friends call you.
I know what a nickname is.
Yeah, that's real good.
And also, like, as if his friends are calling him Rude or Waslip, like he's Harry Potter, like his name is so important. But also, like, they already had Rude or Waslip like ages ago, right? And it was like, oh yeah, it's these spell check pens. I think the spell's wearing off. But that he would have written it on the book like right at the beginning, which means like the quill was already like fucking out like right at the beginning.
Yeah, that or that like the spell wears off
Everything.
retroactively. So anything you wrote.
I doubt it. But that would play into the whole thing about like the caster of the spell like thing.
That would be so funny though.
Yeah, but also it's so convenient for him not getting busted that the quill didn't work.
Yeah. Bruno was. But also like Does that mean Ron doesn't know how to spell his name?
Well, no, because the point of the quill is that it can spell things that you can't spell.
Yeah.
So it's the quill should know how to spell it.
But then what is he writing?
Well,
You
is
know,
he
like, how-
writing, or is the quill writing for him, like on its own?
Ah.
I don't know.
I'd assumed that he was writing and that if you spelt something wrong, it would like autocorrect, it would correct your word.
Yeah.
But then
It could be that his handwriting's like so messy that it looks like something else or some shit.
yeah, maybe.
Like you're wondering if the spell check has a connection to your brain,
Yeah.
which I don't think it does.
How does it work then?
Well, I don't know. It can read.
Okay.
It has a connection to the universal intelligence.
Yeah, that bit's really good.
Yeah, there's some real lols jokes, even in dark times.
Yeah.
She does have some real witty jokes, like that are just like real good comedic timing and shit.
Yeah, and I like how over the books Harry gets like sassier, you know?
But also like more annoying and like more kind of like hero complex and shit.
Yes.
But it's realistic.
Yeah, I think so.
Like everyone's like also putting pressure on him to be a hero and shit, or like have this image of him that he's a hero even though he didn't do anything.
Yeah, this one he's the chosen one and everyone's in love with him. Like because he's the chosen one.
I know, and he doesn't take advantage of it.
Yeah. He's just terrified of everyone.
There's that
Well,
bit in the movies where
in the
like
fourth
Hermione's like, she's only interested in you because you're the chosen one. And he's like, I am the chosen one.
But that's happening, you know, like that doesn't happen in the fifth one because everyone thinks he's crazy. But in the fourth one, all those girls ask him to the ball and he's like, no. Like,
No! No way! Why would I go out with a commoner like you? I'm only into Weasleys and Seekers.
actually, only Seekers, eh? Like,
Do you think if there was no Weasley girl, then he would have like gone after a Weasley guy?
Yeah. He would have got with one of the twins.
And then when one died, it wouldn't have mattered because like he's got the other ones. All right, you're up, George.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, he does love the Weasleys.
Oi, I saw this video, like an interview with the three actors,
Yeah.
and they were asking them like what happens, like I don't know, like do Ron and Hermione get together at the end? And they were like, we don't know, like no one knows yet. We've got to wait for the books to come out and shit. And then they were saying like it would be pretty awkward, you know, because like we would have to do like a kissing scene and shit. And then like Ron's like, oh yeah, but who knows? Like maybe one of us might die and then it wouldn't happen. And Hermione's like, you'd rather die than kiss me. But it's funny because we were joking about Ron dying and then like Hermione being free to like have her successful career in wizarding academia.
Yeah. Really would have released her. Yeah, I saw an interview with the twins where the interviewer asks if they knew each other before filming. They're like, nah, we just both turned up on like the first day. It was crazy.
Lol.
What a retarded question. Yeah.
Yes. That's the buzz.
Yeah. What else? I can't think of anything else that happens in this one.
Oh, they're doing Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes and they're banned at the school. But everyone's like obsessed with them anyway.
Yeah, and they go there.
And they're talking about buying Zonkos.
Yeah. Yeah, they do really well. I'm proud of them.
I know, it's such a waste.
Yeah, it's fun that bit at the beginning where they go to the shop and see all this stuff.
Yeah, and they won't give any to Ron for free.
Yeah. Poor Ron.
Yeah. Poor Ron. The book series should be called Poor Ron.
I reckon.
Poor Ron and the Philosopher's Stone and shit. Maybe we should write the Poor Ron series and it's like all the books from Ron's Kingdom. Oh my god, fucking Harry again.
This guy is obsessed with his own fame.
I wish I'd never become friends with him. I just was lonely on the train and it turned out to be Harry Potter.
Yeah. What a chance.
Oh yeah, you know, like they go to Diagon Alley that time to see the shop and shit, and everyone's like got all those posters up and shit, and then the Weasleys one is like, "Are you worried about you know who? You should be worried about you know poo."
Oh yeah.
And then there's like a joke later on. It's like he did a face that's like looked like he'd overdosed on you know poo or some shit.
Yeah, a bit of fun, eh? Those twins are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to talk a bunch about the ending next time, but I feel like everything was so built up, like there was so much potential for more story, and it kind of just like got cut off by the way that it ends. It's like, oh, what? So now Voldemort's gone? Like none of that really mattered. It was just like filler in the story for like, let's kill Voldemort.
Do you mean the end of the seventh one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It just is over.
Yeah.
You know? I think there should have been like a chapter between Voldemort dying and
Save it.
what? Okay, fine. Don't fucking bring it up then.
And so everyone can look forward to next time where we're going to spend most of the time talking about the chapter that should have gone between Voldemort dying and the final chapter. Slash book. Cool. And then Dumbledore dies and they have a big fight and it's the end really, eh? They all cut and then there's the funeral.
Yeah, he chases Snape.
Oh yeah, and he finds out that he's a half-blood prince and he's trying to do those spells and he's too slow because he's saying them out loud like a pansy.
Yeah, because he doesn't fucking study.
He doesn't.
He doesn't try very hard.
He's too arrogant.
I quite liked, I guess it's like right at the end when Hermione's like vindicated that the Eileen Prince is like related to the whole thing. She's
like all right. And
do it.
Like you didn't know it. You had it wrong. Oh yeah, and then Snape's like confirmed bad guy at the end because he like runs off. He kills Dumbledore and then runs off.
Is that's also when Bill gets all fucked up, eh?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Because then, you know, Molly and Fleur have that fight. She's like, oh, he was to be married. She's like, what do you mean?
You think he won't like me anymore?
Yeah. It's quite sweet.
Yeah, it's quite sweet.
Quite sweet for him. Yeah. Then I guess Harry just goes home, doesn't he?
Yeah, go back on the train.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go on the train.
Yeah.
We should do a trip to England sometime and do some like Harry Potter tourism.
Yeah, that'd be cute, eh? I've never been on a train that has compartments, you know?
Yeah,
That's cute.
yeah.
Maybe I have.
I think there's a train that is the train that was the Hogwarts Express in the movies.
Yes.
I want it to have a cart full of Harry Potter junk food, though.
I think there are ones of that. You know?
Should be.
Um
There's a Harry Potter land here in Universal Studios Japan.
oh. Have you been?
Nah, because apparently, like, the wait times are like horrendous, like 3 or 4 hours for like a single attraction.
Oh, fuck.
It's like, well,
that.
then you only get to go to 2 or 3 things.
That's stupid.
Disneyland's not like that. I mean, the waits are really long, but you can get this fast pass for some things
Yeah.
if you get there at the right time.
Have you been there?
Yeah,
Oh.
I loved it.
Cute.
I was like, all right, let's go. And then I was like, this is sick. There's Disneyland and Disney Sea, and Disney Sea was really good.
Cool.
Yeah, we should go there.
Yeah, cute. I went on my first roller coaster a couple years ago. I really liked it.
First?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I've never been to Rainbow's End.
You're 32. How was that the first roller coaster you've been on?
It was a wooden one as well. It's like over 100 years old. It's that one in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's still got a guy on the back, like steering it.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Real
Fuck
old
that.
stuff. It's not that high up or anything because of that, but that was cool.
I think we should stop recording now and keep talking about this off the recording.
Yeah.